In the far reaches of the Andromeda Galaxy, on a planet shrouded in perpetual twilight, lived a young alien woman named Zanara. Her species, the Luminarians, were known for their bioluminescent skin and their ability to see in the darkest of environments. But Zanara was different. She had been blind since birth, a rare condition among her kind. Her stepmother, Queen Vera, saw her blindness as a curse, a blemish on the royal family's reputation. Zanara was shunned, hidden away in the palace's deepest chambers, her existence a secret from the outside world. Zanara's life was one of solitude and silence. She spent her days in the palace gardens, her fingers tracing the delicate petals of the luminescent flowers that bloomed in the dark. She had learned to navigate the world through touch and sound, her other senses heightened to compensate for her lack of sight. But despite her resilience, Zanara longed for something more. She dreamed of seeing the stars, of feeling the warmth of the sun on her skin, of experiencing the world in all its vibrant colors. One day, as Zanara sat in the garden, she heard a commotion in the palace courtyard. The sound of unfamiliar voices reached her ears, and she felt a strange energy in the air. Curiosity piqued. She made her way towards the source of the noise, her steps guided by the familiar paths she had memorized over the years. In the courtyard, a group of humans had arrived, their spacecraft having crash-landed on the planet. They were explorers, scientists, and engineers, sent on a mission to study the Luminarians and their unique biology. Among them was a young man named Dr. Elias Carter, a brilliant ophthalmologist who had dedicated his life to finding cures for blindness in all its forms. Elias was immediately struck by Zanara's presence. Her bioluminescent skin glowed softly in the twilight, and her delicate features were unlike anything he had ever seen. But it was her eyes that captivated him the most. They were a deep, swirling violet, beautiful yet empty, devoid of the light that should have been there. As the humans were brought before Queen Vera, Elias couldn't help but steal glances at Zanara. He noticed the way she moved, with a grace and confidence that belied her blindness. He felt a pang of sympathy for her, knowing how difficult life must be for someone who had never seen the world around them. When the formalities were over, Elias approached Zanara, his heart pounding in his chest. He introduced himself, his voice gentle and kind. Zanara was hesitant at first and used to interacting with strangers, but there was something about Elias that put her at ease. They talked for hours, sharing stories of their lives, their dreams, and their struggles. Elias was amazed by Zanara's resilience and her deep love for the world, despite never having seen it. As the days passed, Elias and Zanara grew closer. Elias was determined to help Zanara see, to give her the gift of sight that she had always longed for. He studied the Luminarian biology, working tirelessly to understand the complexities of their eyes. He discovered that Zanara's blindness was caused by a rare genetic mutation, one that could potentially be reversed with the right treatment. With the help of his team, Elias developed a device that could stimulate the dormant photoreceptors in Zanara's eyes. It was a risky procedure, one that had never been attempted before, but Elias was willing to take the chance. He believed in Zanara, in her strength and her courage, and he knew that she deserved to see the world. The day of the procedure arrived, and Zanara was filled with a mixture of hope and fear. She trusted Elias, but the thought of finally seeing was overwhelming. As she lay on the operating table, Elias held her hand, his touch reassuring. He whispered words of encouragement, telling her that everything would be all right. The procedure was a success. As the device activated, Zanara's eyes began to glow with a soft, radiant light. She gasped as the world around her came into focus for the first time. The colors were more vibrant than she had ever imagined, the shapes and textures more intricate. She looked at Elias, her heart swelling with gratitude and love. Tears streamed down her face as she took in his features, the kindness in his eyes, the warmth of his smile. She reached out to touch his face, her fingers trembling as she traced the contours of his cheek. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice filled with emotion. Elias smiled, his own eyes glistening with tears. "You're welcome, Zanara. You deserve to see the world, to experience all the beauty it has to offer." In the days that followed, Zanara's life changed in ways she had never thought possible. She explored the palace gardens with new eyes, marveling at the colors and shapes of the flowers. She gazed up at the stars, her heart filled with wonder as she saw the cosmos in all its glory. And she spent every moment she could with Elias, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. But their happiness was short-lived. Queen Vera, jealous of the attention Zanara was receiving, grew increasingly resentful. She saw Elias as a threat, a human who had dared to interfere with the natural order of things. She ordered him to leave the planet, banishing him from ever returning. Zanara was heartbroken. She had finally found someone who truly cared for her, someone who had given her the gift of sight, and now he was being taken away. She pleaded with her stepmother, begging her to reconsider, but Vera was unmoved. She saw Zanara's newfound happiness as a betrayal, a sign that her stepdaughter was no longer under her control. As Elias prepared to leave, Zanara made a decision. She would not let Vera dictate her life any longer. She would follow her heart, even if it meant leaving everything she had ever known behind. She packed a small bag, taking only the essentials, and sneaked out of the palace under the cover of darkness. She found Elias at the spacecraft, his face filled with sorrow as he prepared to depart. When he saw her, his eyes widened in surprise. "Zanara, what are you doing here?" he asked, his voice filled with concern. "I'm coming with you," she replied, her voice firm. "I won't let Vera control me anymore. I want to be with you, to see the world, to live my life on my own terms." Elias's heart swelled with love and admiration for the brave woman standing before him. He took her hand, his grip firm and reassuring. "Are you sure about this, Zanara? It won't be easy. We'll be leaving everything behind." Zanara nodded, her eyes filled with determination. "I'm sure. I've spent my entire life in the shadows, hiding from the world. I won't do that anymore. I want to live, to experience everything the universe has to offer. And I want to do it with you." Elias smiled, his heart filled with joy. He pulled her into a tight embrace, holding her close as the spacecraft's engines roared to life. Together, they boarded the ship, leaving the planet behind as they set off into the stars. As the spacecraft soared through the cosmos, Zanara gazed out the window, her eyes filled with wonder. The stars stretched out before her, a vast, endless sea of light. She felt a sense of freedom she had never known before, a feeling of limitless possibilities. Elias stood by her side, his arm wrapped around her shoulders. "Welcome to the universe, Zanara," he said, his voice filled with awe. "It's a big, beautiful place, and I can't wait to explore it with you." Zanara smiled, her heart filled with love and gratitude. She had finally found her place in the world, and it was with Elias, the man who had given her the gift of sight, the man who had shown her that there was more to life than darkness. Together, they embarked on a journey of discovery, exploring new worlds, meeting new species, and experiencing the wonders of the universe. And as they traveled, Zanara realized that she had found not only her sight, but also her true home, in the arms of the man who had loved her for who she was blindness, and all. In the end, Zanara's story was one of courage, love, and the power of seeing the world through new eyes. And as she and Elias sailed through the stars, they knew that their love would light the way, guiding them through the darkness and into a future filled with endless possibilities.